So if you have noticed that you're getting sore hips, and this is a really big perimenopause symptom, is hip pain, hip stiffness, and a lack of mobility, which also affects your back and also your knees. It's really important that we do focus on some hip mobility practice at some stage when we're training. So in today's practice, it's a blend between some yoga poses and some traditional hip stretches so that we can really open up through the hips and release that tension. It's also really good to decrease stress. So if you've had a really stressful day or you find it difficult to sleep at night, this kind of stretch/yoga practice would be really, really effective to help you stretch, release, recover, sleep better. Okay, so we're actually going to start sitting on the floor. Come on down, cross the legs just into a natural, easy seated posture. And if keeping your knees up close like this is hard on the knees, then bring the feet out a little bit further, okay? So just sit up nice and tall, and we're going to start by placing one hand to the side and just taking an easy side bend. Now, as we're stretching over to the side, also consciously draw that opposite hip down to the floor. So you're getting a side stretch and a little bit into the side of the hip. Take a deep breath here. And then take the arms up and over and come to the other side. So notice I'm going to really think about pushing my knee down to get into the hip there. Just feel that length in the side of the hip. And then come over onto your hands and knees. And then we're just going to do these hip circles. So drawing circles with the hips to loosen up into that hip joint. And then go the other way. That's it, just about 4 or 5 circles in your own time. And then come to tabletop. All right, we're going to take one leg straight up to the sky, so maybe your right leg, and then we're going to draw circles with the knee to open up into the hip socket. So draw the knee down, circle around, and back to the start. So down, circle around, and back to the start. Good, so just take a couple of those, releasing into that hip socket. So I notice when I do these kind of movements, it makes my leg day training better. You get more range of motion and a better result, and it feels better. All right, let's go the other way. So drop it down and around and lift it up in big circles. That's it, 2 more. That feels better already. All right, replace that knee. Let's go the other side. So left foot up, and then we're going to drop it down and circle out and up. So down, out to the side, and up. And let's think about our breath as well. So we're bringing our heart rate down. We're bringing some awareness and mindfulness to our breath. We're allowing our cortisol levels to drop. And that's also going to help us sleep better. Let's go the other way. Down and around. And breathe into it. And 2 more. And 1 more. Awesome. Come back to that tabletop. Right, tuck your toes under. We're going to push into a downward facing dog and stretch into the hamstrings and release the lower back. So lift the knees, press into the hands, and push straight back. So your hips are super high. Hands planted firmly into the floor. Grab the floor with your finger pads. And then just walk it out. Bend one knee and then the other. Dropping one heel to the floor. Just a reminder, if your heels don't touch the floor, it doesn't matter. If you can feel a stretch into the back of your calf, that's all you want. And that feels nice. All right, have a look forward and step your right foot. I'm just going to turn to face you guys. Step your right foot between your hands. And if it doesn't make it, use the hand to help assist. Come up onto your finger pads and just come into a low lunge just to stretch into that back hip, the left back hip flexor. And then drop the knee down and come on up into a kneeling lunge. And then we're going to take the arms up so that we can get a little deeper into that front hip flexor. So the first deep stretch is for the front of the hip. And then just breathe. So we take about 20 or 30 seconds or around 5 breaths to really help release into the area that we want to stretch. Then bring the hands down to the floor and come into a half split or hamstring stretch. But what we're going to do is lift the foot and take it slightly over towards the midline so that it feels like the leg's going across the body now. And then we're going to let the side of the foot come down to the floor. So the foot's turned, the inner part of the foot is facing up. And then we're going to pull that right hip back. And you'll really notice quite an intense stretch in the side of the hip here and your IT band. Now, something you need to know about your IT band is as it gets tighter around the knee joint, that can also start some knee pain issues, okay? So if you have noticed that your knees are creaking or painful, then you'll want to do a stretch like this to release through the IT band, to give the joints some space to move like it should, as opposed to being rigid and painful. And then come back to the center, bring the foot back to the side, rock the hip forward, plant the hands down, tuck the back toe, lift the back knee and push back into downward facing dog. And then have a look forward. We're going to step the left foot towards the hands. Hold it there for a moment, take a deep breath in. See if you can straighten that back knee to really get into the right hip flexor. Drop the back knee down and come up into that kneeling lunge. And then take a deep breath, inhale, reach the arms up. And if you can, just push that right hip forward slightly, not collapsing, but just sort of adding a bit of resistance. When I'm in this pose, I actually think about pulling the front hip towards the back knee, like kind of squeezing them together. So activating. And then exhale, bring the hands to the floor, shift the hips back, toes face up, and then lift the foot up and across the body. And then we're letting that foot fall out. Okay, so we're stretching into your IT band here. And then just gently pull the hips back. Take a deep breath. If it feels really intense, I encourage you to bend the knee, okay? Because it can get really intense, this stretch, but it is definitely helpful for the hips and the knees. All right, rock the body forward, bring the foot back to its place, and then we're actually just going to sit to the side and take what we call a deer pose. So it's like a modified pigeon. It's really good, especially if you have knee pain and you can't do pigeon. So the front leg, in this case it's my left leg here, is in a 90-degree angle forward, and the back leg is a 90-degree angle as well. And then I turn my body to face towards the front knee and just bring my hands forward. Okay, so everything's in two 90-degree angles here. And if you've got tight hips, you'll already notice on the bottom hip some kind of little stretch, okay? So if that's slightly uncomfortable already, I just want you to stay here. But if you can go further, take a nice deep breath, lengthen through your spine, and then allow yourself to come down to your forearms. And it's kind of like pouring your chest over your knee so that you can stretch into the outer hip. Releasing into the external rotators of the hip. We're going to do a little bit more of that coming up soon. This is just a really good way to isolate the hip, the outer hip, and get ready for a bit more. And if you've got a little bit more range, you can, of course, reach your arms forward, take your body all the way down. Feel free to do that. All right, we're going to move the hands back towards us to come on up. And now we're actually going to sit back onto our bottom, take the legs up and plant them so that the feet are on the floor. And the same leg that you just stretched, you're actually going to bring the ankle on top of the knee and then turn it out like a figure four. And then we're going to sit the hips back down. So now we're actually really getting some external rotation here. Okay, the top foot is flexed to protect the knee joint. The hands are behind me, slightly turned out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to push into the hands to lift my chest towards that knee. And then think about pushing the knee away from my chest. All right, now if you've got some extra range, you can bring yourself closer to the heel. This one can be really intense. But if you've got great hip mobility, it might feel quite nice. You might sit like this all the time. I definitely don't sit like this all the time, so it's necessary in my day-to-day. Take another deep breath. And then as you exhale, just let the hips come back. And then we're just going to release by letting the hips drop from side to side like window wipers before we go to the other side. And that feels nice too. Okay, let's go to the other side. So back to the 90-90 deer pose. So really thinking about that front shin bone facing forward and at a 90-degree angle to the femur, and the back leg doing the same, and the feet are flexed. And then straighten yourself up so that you're really long and tall through the spine. And then take a nice deep breath. And if you can, and you did on the other side, come forward onto your forearms. Okay, if you like how this feels or you think that you can go a little bit further, think of pulling the right hip back. Think of squeezing it backwards along the floor. So I'm on my right leg now. So I'm thinking of pulling the right hip backwards towards the back wall. And after about 5 breaths, it feels like it's given a little bit more space, so maybe come a little bit lower. And then bring the hands up and let's come over onto our glutes. And so it's the front leg that's gonna flex and come into that figure 4 stretch. So sink the hips down, lift the chest high, focus on that sensation into that outer hip. And just breathe into it. It starts off feeling pretty intense, and then after about 20 seconds, it's like there's a release. Do you notice that too? Two more breaths. And then just coming out of the pose. We're going to finish with one more pose. It's called frog pose. Okay, so we're getting into the inner hips. So what we're going to do here is take the knees out nice and wide. Hopefully you're on a piece of carpet for this. I'm not, so this will be a little challenge. Flex the feet so that they're like horns out the back. And your knees are wide, your spine is long. And if you're in this position and you can already feel it and you're feeling like it's a little scary, stay here. If you can, you're going to come down onto your elbows, onto your forearms. And if you're already feeling that strength in the inner thighs, then stay with this. But if you can, or when you're ready, you're going to take an exhale breath and kind of bring your forearms back slightly and push your hips back even more. So we're really opening up into the inner thighs and the inner hips. So in today's practice, we've done the front hips, the front hip flexors, we've done the side of the hips, the external rotators, and the inner thighs, the inner hips. And I know after doing these poses, you're just going to feel so much better and freer in your movement, better range when you train, and better sleep. All right, to come out of it, just let your body come forward, come up onto your hands, and then bring the knees in. That should feel really nice. Come back next week for a good workout.